Hello and welcome to another live. I was just thinking, oh, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And this is what we get the whole time. But it did lag a little bit. And I did have the computer or the laptop off for a little bit, just so that it wouldn't lag, but it was still lagging. So if we do lag, forgive us. As you can see, I say us. Mark's not here at the moment, but he is just sorting out drinks. Now, um, so before we start the live, we always like to order some drinks and all of that type of stuff. I say drinks, I mean like, coffees and that. And so um our local that so we've got two local Starbucks. Well, we've got three local Starbucks. We had four, but one closed down. So we got three local Starbucks. And they all close. So one closed at 6, one closed at 6:30, and the other one is hit and miss whether they deliver or not. But I think they close roughly around 6:30 as well. So at 5:30, well 5:20 actually, I started the order, and by 5:30 I was ready to check out because we were debating what new little treats we were going to try and everything else. Oh, so it took time, and every time it takes time for it to confirm the order, I kind of know, they're going to decline the order. And inevitably, they decline the order a whole hour prior to their closing time. So I feel a little bit cheated sometimes because I think to myself, well, all right, I get it if it was, like in the last 15 minutes or something like that, but it's an hour before they're closing. By the time that, Deliveroo or Just Eat or whoever it is, Uber Eats or whatever, get there, do you know what I mean? It takes it by the time they sort of deliver it to us, they'd be closed kind of thing. So it's not like they're turning up, or I mean, I suppose it does depend on how busy they are, but a whole hour, if I was to walk in, they wouldn't be able to say to me, oh, you know, it's a whole hour prior to closing. They wouldn't be able to turn around and say to me, oh, we can't serve you. It's an hour before closing. Even if I turned up 10 or 15 minutes before closing, they couldn't turn around and tell me, um, uh, you know, we can't serve you. I just felt like it was a little bit crazy. But other than that, so that is my little rant. Yeah, that's it really. But how is everyone? What is everyone up to? We are good. We are just Mark's got some drinks, so we ended up having. Well, you'll see in a moment. What we ended up having. So, yeah. So, oh, hey Georgina, how are you?
I didn't clean the straw because it came out.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine. Yeah. So, our drinks have arrived. So I'll wait for Mark to arrive. And yeah, we'll show you. I hope you like my little headband, by the way. This is one that Mark got me um a while ago. Did you manage to get a Starbucks? No.
But hello, Georgina, you're okay? We did get Costa. So Kelly was just saying, there's this thing now. We always get our things delivered, obviously, just because we're lazy, and also as well because we like to get it in for the live. Now we always do either Uber Eats or Deliveroo for our Starbucks.
Or Just Eat.
Or Just Eat. And what tends to happen is, very colourful, she says, what tends to happen is we order it 1 hour before they close. And as Kelly said, they often reject our order. And I'm thinking, well, hang on, how long does it take to make a drink? They reject the order on the premise they're too busy, but this happens every single time. So
the third time, fourth time that they've rejected our order.
Because clearly the queue must be absolutely massive in our local Starbucks.
Must be at the door.
I don't believe it. And if you went in an hour early and they said we're closing in an hour, you think, well, yeah, so
yeah.
I still want to drink.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's okay to do that. Anyway, that's our rant. So we've gone for Costa instead. Thank you very much, Costa.
I got an Aero mint hot chocolate, and I also got a choc chip mint. Although it doesn't look very minty, but
that doesn't look green at all.
No,
is it supposed to be green?
Yeah, it's supposed to be green.
Doesn't look very
so
green.
It doesn't look very green. I got two, so we'll see.
Oh, Chicken Poo is online.
Hey, Chicken Poo, how are you?
How are you feeling? You okay?
What are you up to? Not gaming too much, I hope.
Georgina said, I was craving a cocoa and orange latte from Starbucks, but they weren't taking orders. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying. It's just it's crazy. An hour before. That's mad.
And I've gone for my usual oat. So I'm really into oat milk at the moment. So this is my oat milk latte, but it's really nice.
You normally get coconut, is it?
No, oat milk.
Oh, you normally prior to that, was it almond or was
Coconut.
it always been?
No, you're right. I went for coconut.
Yeah, coconut.
I like this as well. I wonder if it's a nationwide problem. Was refreshing the Just Eat app from 2:00.
Ah, I ordered on I ordered on Just Eat.
So for those of you who aren't aware, Costa is now 50 years, which is I was actually really, really surprised at that. It's 50 years old.
Yeah, because that's when they were doing the coffees for 50p, and I couldn't get on. I couldn't become a member because they were inundated with people trying to get the 50th, whatever it was. No, thank you.
So these are jammy shortbreads, basically jammy dodgers, but they're not.
Hey, Ivy, how are you?
Hey, Ivy, you okay? So there we are.
I hope you're okay, Georgina. I don't know if I asked you, but I hope you're okay. And chicken poo, I hope you're okay too.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. This is the jammy, what they call the jammy shortbread, which is basically they can't legally say jammy dodger because that name's already taken. So this is the jammy shortbread.
Chicken poo says latte sounds great. Yeah, is that good? Is it better than Starbucks' one? No.
But it's better than another type of biscuit, which I won't say for legal reasons, but that's very, very nice.
You're allowed to have an opinion. You can say you are allowed to have an opinion.
And I just gave my opinion.
So oh good. Yeah, happy it's Friday. I think you're happy it's Friday as well.
Yes, Georgina, I celebrate that. I'm so happy it's Friday. It's been a really long week. First week back from my leave, and I'm just thinking, oh God, it was like a real slog. So
and I'm missing Florida, so I've been wearing my mouse ears lately, and yeah, I miss Florida. I want to go back soon.
So what have you guys been up to? Anything interesting?
And if you do regularly go on holiday, or well, even if you don't, if you've been on holiday once or twice, what holiday destination are you missing, if any? Even if you holiday in the UK.
So Ivy has just told us what she's doing. She's having a Toby Carvery tonight.
Oh, are you having it delivered or are you going to Toby Carvery?
Actual fact, that's a really good question, actually. Has anybody ever done a Toby Carvery order? We've never done it, but when we've gone to Toby Carvery, we have seen people do it. So you'll see the chef plate with little boxes putting stuff in it, which I assume is for a delivery.
Yeah, and you also see people going in to get takeaway. So they get given the box and then they do their own and do that as a takeaway. But
I don't see the point in that because I think while you're there, you might as well eat. But yeah, I can totally understand what people would do.
Depends
delivery.
if you're going to someone's house and you're bringing it to someone's house or something. Do you know what I mean? Or sometimes people just want Sunday dinner but want to have it at home.
Who goes to somebody's house with a Toby Carvery?
Listen, if somebody was coming to my house and they said, "Do you want me to bring you Toby Carvery?" I'd say yes, please. I'm not turning that down.
Ivy says, going in tonight, we would love to try a home takeaway one though. Looking forward to it. So actual fact, that might be what they don't deliver there, do they?
No, they're too far.
Too far for us,
too far.
We do want to do it though, just purely as a video so we can show you guys. So somehow we're gonna have to try and arrange it.
Yeah.
Is there anyone close we know where you can go to and order it from there and then pick it up? I'm wondering.
No, you'd have to actually go in and do like the other people, which is you go in, you plate up your own in a box, and then you bring it home. And while you're there, you might as well eat there, like you say.
Well, exactly, because it'll be cold by the time we get home because it's a bit of a distance.
Yeah.
Chicken Boo said, because the work I do, I'm up early in the morning, so coffee is a must. I used to go to Costa and Starbucks a lot, but recently I have preferred McDonald's toffee latte.
But you know what? Some places that you go, I'm a little bit like that with hash browns. I've tried a few hash browns, but the only hash browns that I really like is Co-op's own hash browns.
Now, Chicken Boo said the McDonald's toffee latte is mama. In other words, it's the bomb. So no, absolutely. Do you know what? I've got to say, when I first tried McDonald's coffee, so this is their black filter coffee, was not impressed. This is in the UK. Then Kelly and I went to not going to say Florida, it wasn't, it was actually Las Vegas. And they
Yeah.
did have a McDonald's right opposite where we were. So I did try a few of their filter coffees, and it was much better in the States, I must say. But as Chicken Poo rightly points out, with the new flavors, they are actually really, really nice.
Mm.
And McDonald's is extremely good value for money, I have
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah. I think that it's different for everyone for different things. Like, it doesn't have to be the most expensive thing for it to be nice. Does that
No.
make sense? So like, I will give everything a chance. And if I like something more, then I'll say, oh, do you know what? Just like the co-ops, I tell you, I cannot find even M&S or I cannot find a better hash brown than co-ops. Co-ops on hash browns.
Talking of coffee price wise, now this is the large one, as you can probably see, Costa. That is not far off £5. Now that is a lot of money for coffee. If you think about it, a pint of beer is more expensive than that, but not that much. So I do think they are very expensive for what they are.
Yeah, but it only costs more when you're ordering through. If you go into the shop, it'd be cheaper.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose, because I just see the
Yeah.
prices. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This Chicken Poo said that's very true. It doesn't have to be expensive to be nice, and this is true. A lot of places, as you rightly point out, will put the markup on there.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you put for the name, you
Yeah.
put for obviously, well, essentially, especially the name. You always find this, especially with clothes.
I think because with some places, and this is the quality of the product, but there are other places that are charging lots of money, and they don't give you the quality of the product that they're
No.
charging so much money for. So I really think it just depends on you and your taste and what it is that you like, to be quite honest.
So today we're going to talk about guilty pleasure. What is your guilty pleasure? And by guilty pleasure, let's talk about food. Rather keep it clean. So we're talking about, is there some food that you have a go-to comfort food? Now, I mentioned this on many lives ago, many times before, but it's something I did want to revisit. There was an article in the paper, and again, like I said, this is a few years ago, where they asked top chefs what their guilty food pleasure was. And it ranged from really, and so by top chefs, these are Michelin star chefs, not just the famous ones. So you like your Gordon Ramsays, what had you, and your Marco Pierre White, but they were interviewing. I'm not a big expert on Michelin star chefs, but asking what their favorite guilty pleasure was, and they ranged from everything. So one guy really liked quaver sandwiches. So quavers the crisps, he'd make quaver sandwiches. But there was one guy that was absolutely addicted to pot noodle. He said, because I spend all my time cooking and it's always got to be the right thing.
I
I want
understand
something
it.
really salty, really good. So does anybody have a food guilty pleasure?
See, I never ever liked pot noodles, but my sister used to love pot noodles. She
Now-
really used to like them, but me, I've never really enjoyed pot noodles.
As a student, one of my guilty pleasures, which I loved to do, was cheesy beans. So what you would do is you get a pot, put baked beans in the pot, and you would grate. I used to buy really cheap cheese. So Quick Save at the time did some really cheap cheese. I'm talking about 50p for a massive block of this cheese. And I'd grate that in there, let that in.
I don't think that's a guilty pleasure. I think that's quite common. I think people would like cheesy beans.
Well, that was one of mine.
Yeah, I think Angel Delight would be a guilty pleasure.
I used to love Angel Delight as
I
well.
think that would be a guilty. That's so synthetic tasting. It's horrible.
Chloe, hello.
Hey, Chloe, how are you?
How you doing? You good?
Right, I'm going to taste this mint hot chocolate.
I've nearly finished mine because I've been glugging it. You've just been doing it as well. Cheese and onion crisp sandwich as Chicken Poo. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, I like cheese and onion crisp sandwich. I used to have a friend who used to have cheese, like slices of cheese, and cheese and onion crisps in a sandwich.
What I was going to say, would you go one up on that one? Quick Save, yes, Chicken Poo. I used to regularly shop in Quick Save, and when Quick Save shut, this is when I was a student. I really enjoy. I used to go to shop at Netto. Now, Netto was a real cheap supermarket. To show how cheap it was, I'll never forget it. When I was going around the aisles, somebody had opened a frozen packet of burgers. So, frozen burgers, and there was a teeth mark in the frozen burger. So, somebody had taken a bite out of
Oh,
frozen
that'll be
burger.
some type. That's got to be a child.
Well, I don't know. It was quite a big bite, so it did worry me that someone would eat frozen burgers.
Mm.
Oh, Chloe said, "I love your guys' hair."
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Is it mine or Kelly's?
Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you very much, Chloe. I'm sure your hair is very, very nice.
I'm sure it is. I've seen your hair. It's lovely.
Netto.
Netto,
That's
yeah.
what we see. Now, do you remember that chicken poo? Do you remember?
I do remember
Netto.
Netto, but I never ever went into Netto, and I only went into Quick Save once or twice because I used to go to college in Battersea. I used to go to Westminster College in Battersea, and there used to be one across the road. And I remember going in there maybe once, maybe twice. I never really went into Quick Save. Brings back memories. And I only recently went into Savers. I went with my brother. And we went up north somewhere. Yeah, try a bit. Went up north, and I went into the Savers there. Never been into Savers, and Savers is around. You don't like?
No, I was mint.
You don't like mint. I know. I love mint. I like
Oh.
mint anything. Mint anything. And I know Georgina loves mint matchstick makers.
Oh no.
And I love mint matchstick.
That's like
makers.
somebody's. That tastes like somebody's got hot chocolate, grabbed some toothpaste, put it in there, mixed it up, and then
Oh, I love mint. Oh, I love mint anything.
Yeah, so going back to supermarkets, did you guys ever do that? Did you shop in places? I mean, for those of that you are of an older generation like myself, did you shop in places like Quick Save or Netto or really, really cheap ones? Is there anything that you would go and buy there, or is that a strict no-no? Would you just avoid those like the plague? I used to go in there. So just to show, Quick Save did a special where they would do a loaf of bread for 3p, and they would do a can of beans for 2p.
Wow.
How is the Aero hot chocolate is too sweet?
I quite like it. I don't think it's too sweet, but I do love mint. Like you like the mint matchmakers and stuff like that. I've got mint chocolate chip, obviously. I forget Frostino.
Can I try that instead? Let me try this one. Maybe it's better.
I haven't even had a sip yet. You've tasted this before. It's not going to be any different.
It's better than hot chocolate. So I don't like mint very much as well. The hot chocolate, the Frostina is okay. This is no.
That's not very strong at all. But that's because because I've been drinking that.
That's
so
really.
I can't taste the thing of that. Do you ever have that? Like if you have something sweet and you drink your tea don't taste right. Does that make sense?
If you want to replicate this, just get a normal hot chocolate, brush your teeth, and then drink it.
No.
No. Oh, so chicken poo said Woolworths. Yes, Woolworths.
Yeah, I used to love Woolworths.
Woolworths was great. It sold everything.
And I used to love Our Price, right? There were loads of record shops popping up at that point.
Yeah.
And Our Price were so reasonably priced with regards to records in our day, obviously. And even cassette CDs, that sort of thing. And you could always get a good price in Our Price. But when you went to places like HMV was super expensive.
Yeah. Well, HMV apparently, I was reading an article on this as well. I miss Woolworths and HMV, says Georgina. So apparently where HMV went wrong is they were saying that when people stopped buying CDs, essentially, HMV had to make a decision where they wanted to go, and the board had met together and they decided there's two paths we can go. We can either go on the cheap CD route, so there's always going to be people that buy CDs, records, vinyl, but they'll be much more niche. So we can either go in the cheap route that way, or we can go trying to sell electrical equipment. So they took the decision to go electrical equipment. But if you ever go into HMV, or before it was closed, they sold electrical equipment at top price. It's the full price that you would pay. You could get it cheaper absolutely anywhere else. And I think that's what did for HMV. That being said, they did buy FOP. Now, if anybody shopped at FOP are very cheap CDs. So they realized their error and then tried to rectify it by buying out FOP. But there are FOPs around London that you can find in various other places.
You can find HMVs. They are around. They're just few and far between, because they even had one in Bath.
Yeah.
And they had one.
There's one in Holborn.
Yeah, there's one. Where did we go?
Or just off Holborn, sorry.
I think there's. Is there not one in Oxford Street anymore?
I don't think we haven't been to Oxford Street.
No.
I'll have to check out Richard's Adventures videos to see.
Yeah, to see whether because he goes to Oxford Street, but there was one, and yeah, obviously FOP is still, if anybody knows London well, where Les Miserables used to be, which is now Cursed Child, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, it's sort of like just off Charing Cross Road, off the top end of Charing Cross Road, opposite where the Cursed Child is. Sort of down that road, you'll see FOP, and it's still actually called FOP.
Yeah, it's still called FOP.
It's still called FOP.
Apparently, they bought it. HMV bought it, the FOP place. But I absolutely do agree for Georgina and Chicken Poo when they said they miss Woolworths. Now, Woolworths was the one place you could buy almost anything. I remember many years ago going into Woolworths. You could buy the records, you could buy haberdashery,
pick and mix.
Yeah, pick and mix. You could buy music, you could buy gardening equipment, you could buy. I remember I went in there to do some Christmas shopping a long time ago. I bought a bubble machine for a friend of mine who wanted one. Don't ask me why. That's what he wanted.
You should get toys in there and
smoke
everything.
machine. Yeah, I got toys for his children. I got loads of bits. But I just thought, what other shop can sell all this?
No.
Not TK Maxx. What's the other one?
I don't know.
Asking you.
What Wilco's?
Wilco's.
Oh, you see, Pointless asking me. He couldn't even remember himself. The cheek of it.
Wilco's is the closest, but it's nowhere near as close as Woolworths. Woolworths were so monumental in doing all that.
Yeah, because they do pretty much sell almost the same as Woolworths, but they don't sell records.
Here's another one for you. Do you guys miss Blockbuster? Do you miss the experience of going into Blockbuster, perusing all the films and having a little look? Oh, Georgina says your Wilco's is closing.
Oh no.
Do you know what? That was the other thing as well. People were saying about Woolworths. Because people said, oh no, you can't close Woolworths. But of course, nobody was going in there. That was why they had to close. And Woolworths said they couldn't compete with Poundlands. That was the reason why they closed. So what was I going to say? So yeah, does anybody miss that though? Do they used to miss going into Blockbuster? There's something about Blockbuster I used to love doing. The only bit that annoyed me with Blockbuster was the fact that they always fine you if you were late with your thing.
I feel like with Blockbusters, it was overpriced.
So I was just laughing at Chicken Poo's comment. He said, my mum once bought me trainers from Woolworths. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. They were called Panther. Oh God, I remember Panther. I'm sure my parents actually bought me Panther trainers as well, or Panther football boots, I think. I'm pretty sure of it. What was I going to say? So yeah, I do remember. I'm sure they were Panther. This is going back many years, and I didn't realise actually. Not Black Panther, just Panther. I thought it was Panther. Yeah,
I thought Black Panther, and I thought, well, that can't be right because years ago that didn't exist.
No, there was I'm sure there was a thing called Panther. I do remember that as well. And Wilco's, I didn't realise they're shutting so many Wilco's. I thought they were so popular.
I suppose the next one that you could get to Wilco's is Robert Dice, but Robert Dice is expensive.
The Robert Dice is expensive.
It's really expensive, and the only thing what's good about Robert Dice is they do good deals at times, so you can get some things if they're doing a deal at that time. But I feel like Robert Dice is quite expensive. But again, sometimes they do things that you can only get in Robert Dice.
Now, Chicken Poo, I know you're a gamer. So I was going to say, actually, I do think that's the next lot of shops to shut down. The Shop Game, which sells just computer games, I don't think they will last that long. And I'll tell you why. For the same reason, if you think about it, they're very similar to somewhere like Blockbuster that used to have DVDs and things for sale. People will always buy games, but I think the download market is now going to be the next generation.
I think because of the generation, I think it's a generational thing. And I think that people like the convenience of being at home and being able to download a game. And I think that as long as the prices online can compete with, but the thing is this, at the moment, maybe they can compete with Game per se, let's say. But as soon as Game shuts down, they corner the market.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, I've got to say, so that was one of the, over Christmas, I did purchase a couple of games. So I do like the odd game in myself on the PlayStation 4. And I've got to say, it's so
Odd.
yeah. Well, I do like it. I've got. I was going to say, lost my flow then. It's so convenient. You literally, it's just click, 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 purchase done. No going to the shop, no wandering around, trying to avoid people. It's all there. So I can see why that eventuality will happen.
I don't even think that really. I just think that the next generation that's just how they are. They will just shop online. It's just a normal thing. The only thing that maybe people now go out to the shops is because they actually want to try on the clothes.
Well, I was going to say, actually, that's a very good point, because Amazon game will be gone. I think it will. I think it will. I'll tell you why. Think of it logically. Blockbuster, where you rented out DVDs and videos, obviously went from video to DVD, eventually closed because people then got Netflix. You can rent all of it online, and it's the only logical conclusion if you think about it. If you can get a PlayStation 4, an Xbox, or whatever the latest will be at the time, and you can download any game you want, why would you bother then going all the way to the shops to get it? You can do it instantly. And also as well, remember, so marketing wise, very much the same with films. A place like Game or Blockbuster or anywhere like this has to add on money to the product, and the reason being, they've got to employ staff, they've got to employ rent for the building. All of those on costs are added on to the actual product. But if it's all done downloading, there's no on cost at all. So therefore, you can actually put that saving to the customer. They don't always put the saving to the customer because they generate higher profits, but they can, if they want to, put the saving to the customer. So even if it's £1 less, that the downloading or the company, so for example, Xbox or PlayStation, will make more money because they aren't purchasing products. So the classic example as well is Disney. We were saying about Disney stores. There is only one Disney store now in the whole of the UK. There used to be all across the UK. There's now one in Oxford Street, and that is it. All other ones have closed. And the reason being is because they've gone online, because they can save so much more money. Because if you buy online, you're paying the exact same price as you would in the shop, except they don't have to pay rent. They don't have to pay staff. It's a lot of saving for Disney.
Which is true, but they don't pass on the saving to the customer. And I find that you still have to pay for postage and things like that, which really to pay for postage really irks me. I really gets on my nerves. So yeah, I feel like they a lot of online places haven't passed on the savings to the customer. So it means bigger profit margins for them, but not really for the customer per se. Like say like you want to buy a ticket to a concert or a ticket to a show or anything like that. The cheek of it, you have to pay admin fee. Admin fee for what? It's downloaded to your phone or you print it out yourself. So what admin fee are you paying? You're the one that's booking it. You're the one that's choosing. If it was somebody, if I walked into into the box office and I said, oh yeah, can I buy a ticket? All right, you're charging me, which I don't know why they would be charging me admin fee, because the company pays the admin person. So I don't know why we're paying admin fee or whatever. But it really irks me that they charge the same admin fee if you are booking it online yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
that's naughty.
There have been actual stories about that as well, and they are looking into reducing that, because booking fee, like I say, shouldn't take place. The problem you're always going to have is if you get rid of one fee, these companies are very, very clever.
Yeah.
They will just incorporate some other way. So they'll rename it. So rather than booking fee, they'll call it admin fee, and they'll just rename it. And this is what tends to happen. You get rid of one, they'll just create something else as well. Of course, it maximizes the profits. Exactly like you said for the Disney store, Disney will actually make more money because they will actually charge you the same, but they're making money because they are not having a store. And also as well, they're one store in the whole of the UK. They may even make a loss on, but they're making money elsewhere. So it actually helps.
But not just this is all companies. They charge you the same as if you're walking into the shop, but yet they don't have as many shops anymore. They've closed down their shops or whatever. So they're actually making more money but yet you're just paying the same money, or in some cases more, some cases less, but not that much more less, and things like that. So it's things like that that annoy me really, to with businesses, because we're in we're we're in a climate now where, you know, lots of companies are closing their offices, and you have a lot more there's a new way of working now for a lot of companies, not for all companies, but for a lot of companies there's a new way of working. There's hybrid working, there's remote working, or virtual working, whatever you want to call it, and stuff like that. But you also have the offices who have still kept their doors open, and all of that type of stuff. But yet, um you know, there are a lot of people who aren't working, who, you know, for whatever reason aren't working, can't work, you know, for whatever reason. So to still have those prices, I feel is quite, do you know what I mean? It's quite tough for those families out there who, you know, some families aren't working, some families are, and things like that. And I feel in this climate, there should be better marketing and better deals to be had.
Yeah.
I feel.
So this is true, but also as well, there's always chances for money saving tips that you can employ in order to reduce your costs. So funny enough, we did discover, we were looking online, and there are quite a few websites you can go on where you can download freebies. You can also do as well, there are other websites you can go on to, especially from if you do marketing research purposes, where they will give you an incentive for doing the market research.
Yeah.
So legal and above board, but you're able to do those things as well.
Yeah, there are ways. There are always ways if you look, and you look at certain websites and things like that. So what I find, if Mark and I do our shopping online, I can order things that we need, rather than sometimes, you know, you pick up things that really you don't need or whatever. And if you just need to do a quick shop, I feel like online shopping is quite good. But again, if you're passing by a shop, you can pick up a couple of things that you need. And I don't like the same thing every day. You wouldn't mind so much eating the same thing, but I like to switch it up every day. I'm not one of these ones that likes the same thing every day. So I like to choose things, but I also have to be organized. So, like, if I'm not organized, then forget it. Nothing's going to be done, nothing's going to be ready or whatever. But last night I'd taken some fish out the freezer, and I thought, all right, do you know what, today I'm going to make a curry, which I did. But because I had everything ready, like all my ingredients ready, I pulled out everything and all of that, and then all I had to do was just wash the fish and, you know, get my ingredients ready, and then just chuck it all in the pan and everything else. So I was on top of things. But if I didn't have that all out and ready to do and everything else, I would have just, I don't know. I don't know what I would have. We would have had takeaway probably, or a toasted sandwich, or you would have had eggs.
Well, do you know what? This is what we're trying to cut. So Kelly and I think we've mentioned this many, many times before, but we get into this really bad habit when we can't be bothered to cook. We then end up ordering takeaways. And I did say to Kelly, look, we got to the stage where we were doing like 2, maybe 3. I think one stage we did 4 a week, and I said we've got to stop this because it's really expensive. I mean, one thing I've noticed, takeaways always used to be a lot cheaper than eating in, but they're no longer the case, because I've noticed that takeaway costs are very similar. Well, they're identical now to the shop.
Yeah.
Eating in the shop. The only saving you technically make is you don't tend to order drinks when you do takeaway. So one thing that always bumps up the price when you're in the restaurant is you have a drink, and this one has about 4 or 5. Can I have another Coke? Can I have another Coke? Can I have another, like £4 ago?
Oh, please. 4 Cokes. Who's drinking 4 Cokes during a meal? Talk about exaggeration. I'll have about 2.
Who spent £11 on Coke when they went out with their cousin a few years ago?
A few years ago? You mean almost 10 years ago?
Was it that long? You spent 11. So that's actually a lot. £11 on
because
Coke.
You know why? We ordered 4 pints of Coke. So he had 2 pints and I had 2 pints. And yeah, I think it might have come to 11 or something like that. But it's not like, oh yeah, do you know what? Like them 250ml bottles, is it? It's a pint. I mean,
£11.
If you bought 4 pints of alcohol, how much would that be?
Yeah, that's not. That's,
4 pints of beer.
That's not even comparable. That's not even.
Beer used to be the cheapest drink you could buy. beer was like, 80 something pence years ago. Yeah, true or no? Yeah, exactly.
Is anybody
exactly.
going to chip in here and just say would they
Exactly.
pay £11 for 2 pints of Coke? Anyway, there we go. So it just goes to show, like I said, that's where your costs normally rack up, is when
Yeah.
you go to when you do sit in a restaurant, is when you do order drinks. So that's the only, I wouldn't even call it saving, but that's a reduction.
Mm.
But I have noticed that I think when we did takeaways many years ago, you never paid really that much more than 20 quid for two. And now I've noticed our takeaways can cost anything up to £50 for two of us.
I don't know, because
But that is London prices.
that is
Before
London
Mark
price.
turns around and goes, what?
Yeah. But the thing with that is, I mean, if you're talking about £20, you're more than likely talking about something like fish and chips or whatever. You're not talking about restaurant food. When we order takeaway, we tend to order, takeaway where they're cooking from like from scratch, really. Right. So we order from restaurants, let's say, rather than like it's not very often that I would order. Let's say we would order from KFC or McDonald's. We would order from a restaurant where they're cooking from scratch. So I think when you're talking about fast food, that would be your cheaper options.
So-
we don't really order fast
I was
food.
just laughing at Georgina's comment. She said, that is funny. Love how Mark remembers the incident even after all these years.
I know.
Do you know what?
right?
I was absolutely flabbergasted when Kelly said, oh, God. No, I think it was 14. I think it's 14 quid.
Look, it's going up now.
No. I do remember it was a lot. And you said that. And I said to you as well, I said, how much? I thought, my God, they saw you come in. Yeah, of course you can, madam. As much as you want. You just keep that coming. 14 quid on 2 Cokes.
See, I don't even bat an eyelid at things like that. I just think to myself, well, I'll know that I won't do that again or whatever. But Mark will remember it like 20 years, when we're old age or whatever. Mark will go, do you remember that time?
Well, what's funny actually is when we went to the United States, there's an old saying, they're falling their money. When we went to the United States, it was funny because we ordered drinks. Kenny and I ordered drinks, and the waitress came up to us and said, "Would you like another one?" We both said, "No, thank you." And she said, "We noticed you British." I said, "Yes." She said, "We noticed that with you Brits." He said, "In America, if you order a drink, refills are free. Not always, but in a lot of cases.
Only in the soft drinks.
Yeah, soft drinks, of course. Yeah, not booze. But yeah, the soft drinks are free, so they will just keep refilling it. And Americans expect constant refills. So as soon as they finish, they demand another refill. But they want another refill, and that's the expectation." But she said, "I notice you Brits always say no, even though it's free refills." And as I said to her, I used that story, and I said, "Well, in the UK, it's rare that you get free refills.
Yeah.
It's basic, unless Toby Carvery, of course, as I was going to do refills, but it's quite rare. If you get a second or a third, you pay for that second or that third."
Yeah.
And I think that's ingrained in us Brits, that when you do go across, no, just one. I'm not paying. Well, someone will pay £14. I'm not paying all that money.
If I'm thirsty, I'm gonna pay for the drink. I'm not like Mr. Frugal over here. If I'm thirsty, I'm not going to die of thirst while I'm eating my meal because I don't want to pay. Don't want to pay for a drink. That's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do my shopping, but I'm going to put everything in my pockets because I don't want to pay 10p for a bag. No, I just pay the 10p. If I've forgotten a bag, I've forgotten a bag. But if I'm going out to eat, I want to enjoy my meal or whatever it is. So I'm going to buy, another drink if that's, because we don't go out very often. We don't go out. We may go out like once a week or once every 2 weeks. So if we're going out, it's not like, oh my God, she's paying £11 for every single drink that she's got. No, we're just going, we're going out for something to eat. I'm going to get a drink. If I want 2 drinks, I'm getting 2 drinks. End of.
Georgina said, back in the day, there wouldn't be a delivery fee for local takeaways, but the apps have enabled more choice. So is that right? I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
For local takeaway, they did free delivery.
Yeah, they do. Like, if you order from Pizza Hut, or if you order from your local Chinese, or if you order from your local Indian, there's no charge. But if you order through Just Eat or Deliveroo, you have more choice.
That makes sense, actually.
That's why it's more expensive.
That makes sense, actually, because I think when my parents are, I order for them sometimes through Just Eat. And actual fact, the restaurant will put their own their menu in the
Yeah.
delivery, and there's a little note on it that just says if you order directly through us, we'll give you a 10% discount
Yeah.
as well and free delivery. And it makes sense because I think obviously Just Eat will take their cut.
Yeah.
So this obviously means they get the full amount. Georgina also said, I've noticed a certain app lowering monthly discount and increasing minimum spend to be eligible for the
Yeah.
discount. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So basically, there are a couple. I have ordered through Just Eat before, and a Deliveroo guy has turned up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a Deliveroo guy has turned up. So, um, Just Eat and Deliveroo are similar. But I don't know who started first. Whether it was Uber Eats that started first, in delivering foods and stuff. But when you order things like Nando's or KFC, any sort of like cheap fast food,
Yeah.
it is more expensive through the app.
Right.
So it's more expensive than if you went to the restaurant itself. However, a lot of fast food restaurants don't have drivers or don't have their own delivery people. But things like Pizza Hut, who I would never order Pizza Hut through Deliveroo or Just Eat or anything like that. I would order directly with Pizza Hut because it's free delivery.
Yeah.
And if you order a certain amount, you get money off, like a good lot of money, like 40% off, 50% off. When we ordered Domino's at your parents', that was not a good deal compared to if we had ordered Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut to me always do really good deals. What you call it, Domino's, they're not very good. A lot of people like Papa John's, but I've tried Papa John's a couple of times. I've given it a couple of tries. I may give it another try. But I don't like Papa John's.
So I was going to say, so legal disclaimer there. Obviously, we haven't checked all the deals for Pizza Hut and for Domino's, but we
I
should
did check the deals for Pizza Hut and Domino's.
I'm just doing legal disclaimer.
Oh, sorry.
I'm screwing it up.
Sorry.
Shush.
Legal disclaimer,
Legal
apparently.
disclaimer. So yeah, we will always try and check the deals out first. Georgina says, I remember when Uber Eats would give you a discount with no minimum spend, but that was probably when first launched.
Yeah.
Do you know what? And this is true. It's actually a tactic to get you to join.
I think that with the different apps, they try to do. There's no competitiveness, I find, with the apps. It's much of a muchness now. And it is a real shame that there's no competitiveness, like utility bills. They try to do a competitive thing to make you stay with them or whatever. You can go to a Uswitch or whatever these apps are, Compare the Market or whatever, now to try and switch your bills to get the best deal for you. But along with the best deal for you, you also want the best service. There's no point in having the best deal when it's the most rubbish service ever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that you need to really look into what's best for you, really. I like, because the better service may not be the cheapest. That's the problem.
No, this is a thing as well, and I think also as well, you find this, and weirdly as it sounds, when sometimes in petrol companies. So if you go to a certain town, the price of petrol is exactly the same. All the different companies, the different petrol companies in a particular town. So of course, somehow you realise there's probably been behind the scenes a little agreement with them all to make sure they charge the same price. So I do wonder, I'm not saying that this does happen, but if that does happen with certain delivery companies, if they all agree, well, if we charge X, we can then all make money together.
But Dean was trying to explain to me, because save 3 pence on a litre, save 5 pence on a litre. He was trying to explain it to me. I go, but in the long run, with all your litre, I mean, how much money are you really saving? Is it, if you're telling me I'm going to save a good old £40 from filling up my car, I'm like, yes. If you're going to tell me, but if it's going to be a matter of, you're going to save £2, that £2 will get lost somewhere doing something else anyway. So I don't want to hunt around for something that is 5 pence cheaper on. Do you know what I mean? I want to know that I'm going to make a good saving, not a £1 or £2 saving.
Well, one thing that always, going back to foods, one thing that always confuses me is that the delivery charge per restaurant is always different. Even if a restaurant, we looked at some restaurants that are right next door to each other.
Yeah.
So some restaurants might charge £3 for delivery. Others might charge £2 or £1. And I've never worked out why, because it's the same distance pretty much for the driver, the bike rider, to go to there. And I remember actually, so as a treat for some people, I did buy them who are different locations, some takeaway. And what had happened with that as well, one place I think charged £1 for delivery, which is really, really good. But another place wanted £5 for delivery. Exactly the same company, exactly the same app. But so the difference in the delivery charge was huge. And I've never worked out why that is. Is it just they add it onto the profits, or is it just per driver?
I think it would be a case of how much, because each restaurant will work out their own contract deal with the app. Now, if one has worked out a really good deal and one has worked out a not so good deal, that will get passed on to the customer. So if the one that charges £5, maybe they didn't work out such a good deal with that app. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you approach an app and you say, right, you need to sign a contract. But it's like if you go and join oh, bless you.
I was gonna sneeze, sorry.
It's like if a company, so say your company approached a gym, right, and said, right, we want a corporate discount for all of our thingy, and then another company comes along. You two aren't going to get the same deal with the gym.
No.
One is going to get one deal and one is going to get the other deal.
But liken it to delivery drivers. So are they charging? Are you paid more because it's a different deal with the restaurant? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So the restaurant is approaching the app. So it'd be like two companies approaching a gym,
right?
And they are now going to work out their deal with that app. Like your company would work out a deal with that gym. This company would also work out a deal with the same gym. This restaurant would also work out a deal with that app.
Is that making sense?
So the two of you are trying to. So you got two different restaurants making a deal with the one app. This restaurant might get a better deal with that app than this one. So therefore, the one that didn't get so good a deal may have to charge more for extra bits, which will then get passed on to pay the app.
So have you guys noticed that? Have you guys noticed big differences in delivery charges? Would it affect the way you ordered, or would you just order for the? I don't suppose you would as well, but would it? It could do. Would it influence what you order online in terms of food delivery?
Like there was it's gone now unfortunately, but there was a really good Indian restaurant.
Oh yeah.
When you ordered food at home, it was the same price as if you ordered as if you were sitting down eating in the restaurant. It's the restaurant where I paid loads of money for the Coke, by the way. And you can get your head around that it was the same price as eating in the restaurant.
No, see, for me is bizarre. Now, I always think, and this is always my thinking, but if you are eating in the restaurant, you would expect to pay more, and the reason being is the rent of the establishment itself, but also as well service charge. So you are getting someone serving you there. I know you have the tip, but they will put underlying charges on there, heat, electricity for the building, all of that. But if you're doing takeaway, I do think that the price should be less. Not massively less, but should be less because you're not using that service. So the fact that it's exactly the same to me baffles me. It does actually baffle me. I thought it would be slightly less.
But can you name a restaurant, any restaurant, not takeaway, but any restaurant that does takeaway where it would be cheaper doing the takeaway?
No, they're not going to do that, are they? Because then they figured out you pay more.
Yeah, you wouldn't. The thing is, when you order food, it's still the same food that is being cooked or whatever, but they wouldn't do it cheaper because then that would encourage people to stay home.
Yes, I suppose you're right. So I mean, I think what would end up happening is you would what you would do is you would then have a restaurant solely for the purposes of takeaway, so it'd be much smaller.
Mm.
I really want a takeaway now, says Georgina. Sorry, that was our thing as well. So we do a lot of takeaways as well, as you've probably seen. Georgina, you were definitely seen from our previous videos as well. We did go for a phase of actually reviewing a lot of takeaways.
Yeah.
We will go back to that.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
I think a lot of the reason why we kind of stopped, because we actually said this was pretty much during the height of the pandemic, especially during lockdown. So we did a lot of reviews on takeaways. But then as we were going back out into restaurants, we were reviewing the restaurants again. However, we will do a little combination of both in the meantime. So we will start to do some more of our reviews of takeaways. Go on.
What is your ideal takeaway? Like everyone, what's your ideal takeaway? I know, oh yeah, I remembered your one.
So for me, so when you say ideal takeaway though, because the natural reaction then is to go for your favorite food. However, the other question I would add to that is there a restaurant you really, really, really wish delivered to you, but obviously they don't for a variety of reasons? Some don't actually do takeaway, and some obviously just because of the distance they would have to travel. But if you were allowed to have takeaway from any one restaurant of your choosing, you're allowed to do it as an order, as you would go into the restaurant. What would that be? I'm going to go first, if you don't mind. So for me, my ultimate takeaway is pizza, but not just any pizza. Pizza Hut, Pizza Express, Pizza Domino's, and also Papa John's as well. I'm sorry. Personal opinion, but you cannot match a traditional classic-made Italian pizza. And there's a local one to me which I really, really like. It's my seafood pizza. That is my favorite pizza takeaway to order. If there was any if there was any restaurant I really wanted to deliver, would be the Ned's Feast. That would be mine. Oh, Georgina said, I wish Hummingbird Bakery delivered to me.
Are they still open? Because I was in Soho and that Hummingbird Bakery is closed. So I don't know if they are still open, to be honest.
Where in Soho is it?
It was right by Minalima. It's actually on the same side. I think it's the next shop. I think it's right next door to Minalima.
Is it in between Crosstown Donuts?
No.
Minalima and Crosstown.
No, because Crosstown is after Minalima. This is before Minalima. The place that I would like.
Before we do so quickly, Georgina said best pizza I ever had is a Pizza Papillon in Finsbury Park.
Oh wow!
Is that, if I pronounce that properly, Papillon in Finsbury Park? I wish they delivered to me. Okay.
The best pizza that I've tasted, other than the one in Bologna in Italy, is Rosa Pomodoro in 7 Dials.
And was that where you'd want to deliver? No, what would you want to deliver to?
Who I would want to deliver would be, I had it in my mind, and this place called the Frenchie, and they do a duck burger. It's just, I can't even describe it. It's so delicious. I would love them to deliver.
Georgina said you pronounce that French mark. Yeah, I did. Papillon. So I didn't mean to. I've not heard of that. Do you know what? Because I know Finsbury Park quite well. Whereabouts in Finsbury Park is it? Is it near the old cinema, which I think is now a religious building? But is it near the Tube, the Underground?
I'm assuming that would be an Italian, not a.
Yeah, I know that. That's what she's saying. Yeah, that was a joke.
Yeah. Because when he did say Papillon, I thought. But I think the Frenchie, because I love the Frenchie. And there was another restaurant that I was thinking of, but I can't remember what it is. Definitely the Frenchie.
I would guess. I think you would go for the Ivy as a delivery potential. With Coat.
I would love it if Coat delivered. I wouldn't say the Ivy because that is so expensive, and I could imagine Mark's face going, "Oh, the Ivy, not what again?" No.
Oh, it's in Stroud Green. Pizzeria Papagone.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely the Frenchie's definitely one. And Yeah, that's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head.
Mm.
I wouldn't mind if a Rosa Pomodoro delivered. Of course, these are all in central London, though. Do you see what I'm saying? And sometimes I just like the simple things like prep ham and cheese croissant. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well,
Just like things.
that they deliver.
Yeah, but they don't always deliver. They don't. They run. They don't always have ham and cheese croissant and things
No,
like
but
that.
I think the what we're trying to do is one's a restaurant that you would really want to deliver.
But that's what I'm saying. For me, sometimes it's the simple things. But eat have now gone into administration. But
Yeah, I
things like eat,
know.
or just sometimes because I'm so used to being in London and working in London and eating in London. Um, there are a lot of things in central London that I would eat. Things like pho, things like, but they're very simple restaurants. They're not like grandiose, expensive restaurants and things like that. It's just little things that you would pass by and get regularly.
So Georgina said for me, probably Shake Shack or Honest Burger.
Ooh.
Now we've not reviewed Shake Shack
Yeah,
and we've not reviewed Honest Burger. So
no.
there
But
is gone.
Sorry, but if I had to choose, it would be Shake Shack over Honest Burger.
What was the one we've there's one video we have up to load. We should have loaded
Marlowe's.
Marlowe's. We've got to upload that because it's
Yeah.
been such a long time since we filmed it.
Yeah, it has been a while. I started it, but there was something wrong and I had to stop. And I think it was just because there was a lot of music in the background,
Oh, okay.
which was the problem. So then to you can't put music over it.
No.
Is what I'm saying. So yeah.
Oh, Georgina said prep finally delivered to me.
Yeah.
This was a very exciting moment. Seeing what new places deliver brings me joy.
Yeah, it's so true. And because you know what, like, especially being at home and you just think, oh, I used to go here, I used to go there, I used to do that, I used to do this. And something as simple as prep delivering. And I was able to get I was able to get the pigs in blanket when they did it. But the thing about Eat, because Eat went into administration, which is really sad, they used to do this mince pie bar. It was so good. It was so delicious. And years ago, they used to do this cappuccino cake. Again, that was so good. The cup of tea was so delicious. They used to do like the pies. I used to love to get their pie and mash and just and now they're no longer, and it's just such a shame. But with this prep that now delivers, and they've only just gone on to I think Just Eat or Deliver, I can't remember which one. I was actually able to get the pigs in blanket, and I was so shocked and I was so happy, and I was thinking, oh yeah, pigs in blanket. So yeah, so I was happy about that. Yeah, so I'm happy with those little things. They don't have to necessarily be the most expensive restaurants or anything like that. Sometimes it's just the simple things, the simple comforts. And my simple comforts what used to be Eat and Prep.
Well, actually, fact, Georgina, I do agree with you as well, because we do that sometimes. We'll look for it and they go, oh my God, so-and-so's delivering you. No! So so we then go off and order that. But yeah, it's fantastic. As time goes on, more and more and more restaurants added to the range.
Yeah, I mean, I was so happy when Wagamama's
delivered.
Where I used to work, I was so happy. They opened a Marks and Spencer's across the road, and they opened a Wagamama's, and it blew my. I was so excited. I was so excited. I used to say to my friend, "Oh God, I'm so excited! They've opened a Marks and Spencer's." Because where I used to work before, they opened a little Marks and Spencer's, but then they closed it, and that was a real shame. So then, when I moved to this other place, then they opened a Marks and Spencer's and Wagamama's across the road. I was so happy, so excited, so happy.
Georgina said, I think I'd be overwhelmed if all my faves delivered.
Could you imagine? I mean, little things like Nando's and whatever. I feel like, and Nando's is like cheap eats, and things. I mean, Greg's are even on like Deliveroo or whatever it is, or just and things like that.
Yeah, they
are.
Now.
I mean? And you can just get they're just like good little cheap eats. I mean, yeah, you got to pay for the delivery or the little premium that they put on top or whatever. But sometimes you just fancy the cheap eats. Like sometimes I do fancy KFC. Sometimes I do fancy McDonald's. Sometimes I fancy McDonald's breakfast. It's not very often, but I will get it if that day I fancy it and I think to myself, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that, and that's what I do. But yeah, I don't mind cheap eats sometimes.
Well, actually, funny enough, it can get you into bad habits. Like for us with the coffee
Yeah.
deliveries as well, we get into real bad habits. We do so. Obviously, we do 2 orders a week. So our Tuesday live and our Friday live, we'll always get a little coffee just so we can chat with you guys. But in between, somebody always goes, "Oh, shall we get a coffee?" I say, so you end up doing it. So you do then start to enjoy the convenience of it. I have to say.
The cheek of it, I'll say, shall we get a coffee? He goes, do you know what? I was thinking the exact same thing.
I do. I'm not going to lie. I'm just as guilty. So yeah, we do that, and we always end up getting a little snack with it as well. So we always get a little something with it too. But yeah, once your faves start delivering, that is dangerous.
I really enjoy when my favorites start delivering. But I think, do you know what? I think I I can't say that there's this other than the Frenchie, because I would really love that duck burger. I dream about it. That duck burger. I dream about it.
What about if Italy started to deliver? Would you guys go?
I mean, yeah, if Italy delivered, but there would only be specific things that I would get from Italy, like things that I maybe would cook. I think with Italy, I would mainly do reviews from Italy. Do you know what I mean? Because them little patisserie cakes that they do, which is not patisserie cakes, is the Italian version of whatever patisserie is. They do some really really nice ones. There is another cake place that I was thinking of. Julian Plumard.
Oh yeah.
If his little he does these really great cakes, these really great patisserie cakes. If he delivered, that would be fantastic.
So as Georgina said, it's a nice treat. We all need the small joys we can get this pandemic. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. And do you know what, actually, is one of those things we discovered takeaways a lot more during the pandemic.
Yeah, we do, because we didn't order that much. Really,
No.
we would order once a week, maybe.
Yeah, but now we order quite a bit, and I think
We haven't for the last couple of weeks, though. I mean, we've ordered one or two, but
just as a cheer up.
yeah, nothing.
So what Georgina says is actually spot on.
Yeah, I think yeah, and I think we are moving to that stage of ordering online.
Well,
food being one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like Kelly says, and I think I've mentioned this so many times, but they are saying now the younger generation, which they now call the Netflix generation, do that. They much prefer ordering takeaway in and watching a movie, say for example at Netflix, than they do going out to, not all, but in general, going out to a restaurant. They just find restaurants boring. There's nothing to do. Whereas at least if you can eat indoors, you can watch a movie, something interactive. Which is why you're getting more interactive things in restaurants like Inimo.
Isn't it crazy? No, but Inimo's been going for a long time.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that people would rather have takeaway and watch Netflix rather than go to a restaurant and have a one-on-one conversation with their partner or with a relative or with your friends or whatever? You would rather sit down on your own and game while talking to your friends, or sit down and watch TV and eat rather than engaging with your partner. And it's crazy to me. I feel like that's crazy.
But that's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about it, I was going to say, now we used to have a TV many years ago in the kitchen as well, but I remember a time when we didn't have it. But a lot of families do that, and I think as you move on, especially with phones, I mean, I've seen that. You've seen it. When we go out to a restaurant, sometimes you'll look over and there'll be couples there, and they're both on their phone, and they both are happy to do that. Both are happy to be engaged in a conversation with someone else whilst being in each other's company, and they see nothing wrong in that, and that's fine. That's if you both got that agreement, that's okay.
I just feel like the social skills are disappearing slowly but surely. I think we're coming into a new set of social, aren't we? Which is things like YouTube or TikTok or whatever. But don't get me wrong, if we're at dinner or whatever, I'll check my phone. Like if somebody sent a message or whatever, I'll quickly check it, because you never know if it's something like an emergency or something like that. But I don't spend all night on the phone and ignoring Mark while I'm just on the phone doing whatever. That's just madness. But you're right. We've seen couples that are just there on their phones or whatever. But I mean, even when there's a group of us, whether we're at my mum's house or here, a group of us will be on our phones checking something or whatever. But at the same time, when we're on our phones, I'm talking to that person going, oh yeah, look, blah 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 sent me a message, or they'll be saying, oh, somebody sent me a message, or have you seen this story, or have. So you're still engaging with that person while you're on the social media, but you're talking about the whatever the social media is. You're not just sitting there quietly. I don't know.
That's one and the same to me. That's
Really?
that's one and the same. See, this is the thing, like my family as well, like I said, but we're obviously older school,
Mm.
won't do that. There's no tablets, devices, or anything at the dinner table. You'll
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah.
But I have been around people's houses where everybody's on a social media device.
Right.
So you're sitting around like that, watching everybody on the device.
Mm.
So there is that thing, and of course they'll see that as perfectly normal.
Yeah.
So I've had that round with friends as well.
Mm.
I liken it to, I think I told you this story, but many years ago. This is in the 90s, so it wasn't as prevalent then. Doing that with your phone and your mobile devices, and tablets weren't really, to put it in context, people didn't really have that many tablets back then. So I remember my friend went on a date, and he went on a date with this girl, and he said as well, he said they went to a restaurant and they went to the cinema afterwards. Cut a long story short, he said to me, the entire restaurant she was on her phone, either texting or taking calls or calling people. He said afterwards, he said we got to the cinema, and he thought, well, she started texting while the film was going on, and he just said, I think you have to put it away. So he said, oh yeah, she turned it off. And you can see after the film, as soon as the credits rolled up, she's back on, turning on her phone, checking all her messages, desperate. I haven't been able to check my phone for 2 hours. Anyway, at the end of the day, he thought, well, this is clearly she didn't like my company. She's been on the thing. She loved it, wanted a second date. And it just thought, what? So it just goes to show that people's conceptions are totally different.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I've always been a telephone person, as in talking on the phone. So I've always been that type of person. I would rather pick up the phone and speak to someone rather than text or whatever. However, what I find good in today's thing is it like on WhatsApp or whatever, you can have a group of you and you can all talk at the same time, or you can do a shared screen and a few of you talk at the same time and things like that. So I like that. Or if I can't sort of talk to someone, then to send a voice message to me is okay. And like me and my friend, we might send each other voice messages or something like that. But I've got to say, I'm not really one for texting.
Well, I suppose it's different. How do you guys feel about the whole social media thing? Would you be happy to do that sort of, if you were going to dinner for somebody else, would you be happy just to sit there with your phone while the other person doing the same thing? Would it irk you? Or are you pretty cool with that? And also at home as well, when you interact with other people as well, are you happy just to have devices at the dinner table, or is it a complete no-no? How do you feel about that? And also as well, going back to, I say, the Netflix generations, what is your preference? Do you prefer takeaway and Netflix, relaxing at home and eating that food, or do you prefer the restaurant experience? What's your preference? What would your preference be?
I think because coming from a hotel background as well, I think the social aspect, being in people's company and talking to them, is more preferable than to sit down and watch Netflix. Don't get me wrong, what I don't like is if I have to get ready to go out. So if I'm at home and then I have to get ready and go somewhere, I have to get dressed up or put on makeup or whatever it is. I'm not about that lifestyle. I like it if people come over and we can have a good old chat. We can sit down. We can, enjoy a meal or whatever. I like that. And I like talking to people like we do now. So like we can engage with you. We can talk with you. We can hear your thoughts and things like that. That I really like. I like the interaction of that sort of thing. I'm not the type of person who, and it's very funny because there are people my age who rather text. They rather text. They rather, you know, yeah, they would just rather text and things like that. But I have a lot of friends who rather go out.
So with two, that's, I suppose that's two separate things. Devices aside, do you prefer the restaurant experience, or do you prefer the chillax at home with a takeaway?
It depends on what mood I'm in, but I like to go out.
You like to go out?
Yeah. I think if we are out, this is how I would put it. If we're out already, I like
Right.
to go out. But if we're in, like, say, like now, and you say to me, "Oh, do you want to go to a restaurant now?" I'd be like, "Oh,
Do you know what? I'm
all
exactly
right
the same. You can see how we're the same on that as well.
then."
I've got to be honest, as time goes on, that's very much like me as well. If I'm out, if we're out, so say I was at work, at the office, and I mean actually in the office, and someone said, "Oh, shall we go out after work?" As well, depending on how tired I am. If I'm all actually okay and got the energy for it, I'm out, I'm dressed up already, I'm out already. As long as the restaurant's very close nearby, that's cool with me. I'm
Yeah.
happy to do that. But I know what you're saying. If it's Saturday night, especially if it's cold, wet, and rainy outside, and I've got to get ready to go out in the cold, wet, and rain, then to go to a restaurant and then come back, I think, yeah, sometimes I prefer that.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest as well. That's one thing that the pandemic has got me in, is much more into home comfort.
Yeah, it has. And I can't tell you whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I find that more and more often I am in the house rather than outside of the house. And part of me um wishes that I was out of the house a little bit more
Well,
than
you
what I am.
can go for a walk and stuff like that, or you do you
Yeah,
mean
but
actually going shopping and
no, I mean, yeah, I want to go and do an action,
right? Okay,
right? Not like just for a walk. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy a walk and stuff
yeah,
like that, but there's nothing at the end of it. Does that make sense? There's no.
yeah. I suppose you could go for shopping, for a walk with shopping at the end of it.
Yeah, I know, but even then, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would like something at the end of it, I suppose.
Yeah,
Not necessarily shopping, but yeah.
I think for me, I'm getting more into that takeaway, relaxed feel. I think depending on the restaurant for me, the bit I don't like in restaurants, if it's mega crowded, I
Yeah.
really don't like really busy spaces. It just does. I just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
If it's very very busy, and by that I mean I'm sitting here and say as complete strangers where Kelly is. I just thought this is not
Yeah.
fun. This is just crowded here. There's that. And also as well, like I said, it depends, like you say, on what the mood is. So if I'm tired, I just want to go home. So if you are tired and you're having a takeaway at home, that is the nicest thing. Because once you've eaten, you're done, you're there and you can relax. And you're in your relaxed clothes anyway. I think if you are dressed up going out there, it's not always that comfortable.
And I like when the summertime comes and it's hot and we can eat outside.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I really
barbecue.
yeah, I really enjoy that, and I like it even more when we have people round. We haven't, like, over the last couple of years, we did do some mini things where, like, Alicia came, and I think there's another time when Suzette and Alicia came, and we sat outside. But nothing really big. I think there was one time when even Evelyn came, I think. But we didn't do like our big family barbecue that we do. And I
No.
and all that, even though it's a lot of hard work, I did miss that. I missed not getting together and sort of like chatting over food and drink, and yeah, and the cousins getting together, and then seeing the next generation of cousins getting together. That's quite nice to see when the little generations of cousins get together. And yeah, so that's really, yeah, I mean, I miss
Yeah,
that.
no, I totally agree. I think it's one of those things. Once it's taken away from you, you do then miss it. And yes, we could have done a barbecue this year, obviously, because once the restrictions were lifted, you were allowed to have meetups. But I think we just decided, it was just too much. Because when we invite people, we get
Yeah,
quite
there's
a
like
lot of people.
so many people.
And I just thought that's 20. We've had up to 40 people around
Yeah.
at one point. And I thought to myself, there's 40 people coming traipsing in and out the house. There's 40 people. We don't know if anybody's infected. If anybody was, that would be all 40 people infected. So we don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. I don't want to be the cause of that, or encourage the cause of that, or anything like that. But I think now it's getting to the stage where it's just something we have to live with. It's getting to that stage now where you can't. hide from it and whatever. It's just something you have to live with now. So who knows what this year holds? Hopefully, good things. I'm hoping. What does Georgina say?
No, Georgina, that's the last one. It's a nice treat.
Oh, right,
That was about all the nice joys in life.
Yeah. Do you know? Yeah. And so I think for me, yeah, I enjoy having the barbecue and things like that. And I enjoy having, like, I don't really enjoy cooking. I do it. I just don't like the length of time that it takes me. I feel like when you cook, it just takes so long because it's all the prep work that takes ages. The actual cooking part doesn't take too long, but the actual prep work is what takes a long time. And I think that, but when you do finally eat it, like today I did a curry. It took
Very
ages,
nice too.
but thank you. But you could taste the amount of work that I put
Oh
into
yeah, good
it,
God,
and
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything, and all the flavors and everything else. But it just takes ages, and I don't really enjoy cooking that much because of the length of time that it takes. But I do enjoy baking, but I haven't baked. It feels like forever.
No, you haven't baked for a long time,
I think
actually.
August probably was the last time that I actually baked anything.
Well, like I said, and we haven't uploaded any of your baking videos as well, so that would say that you haven't baked for a while.
No, because I haven't got any baking videos that I've uploaded all the
No,
baking
no, no, no.
videos.
You have done. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
haven't done any since then. The
But-
last time I did the cooking actually as well would have been the New York cheesecake, the
Oh,
French
right,
cheesecake.
yeah, the French cheesecake. And somebody commented on not the bantha milk.
Oh yeah, and said there was a yeah. So thank you if for your comment as well, because I think you were suggesting that I use far too much arrowroot for the
Yeah.
bantha milk. So I will give that a re-go because it is actually quite useful. The other thing you were saying as well, and it's very true for those of you who've seen the bantha milk recipe. So the bantha milk was on the Star Wars cookbook. You asked, and it did say in the recipe, I was supposed to use a blue, so for the blue coloring, it's actually a tea bag,
Yeah.
a blue colored tea bag, and I forget there was an
Tea
actual
pigs, I think.
tea pig. That's right. There was a tea pig, which was with blue. Now I could not get that in any supermarket, but I think you can get it online.
Yeah.
I did look online. Granted, obviously, I didn't look very hard enough because I couldn't find it. So in the end, I substituted it with blue food coloring. But most likely as well, that may have the two things. Too much arrowroot may have contributed to the thickness and maybe affected the taste. Plus, as well, the tea pig probably would have added to the flavour. Obviously, blue food colouring doesn't have any particular flavour, so it wouldn't have added any enhancement at all.
No, and the person also suggested over ice.
Oh.
Not the hot milk that we had.
Okay, so we will give that another go. I will do a bantha tea rematch. I still got plenty of arrowroot left. I'll use a small amount, so I will use a smaller amount. We've got milk.
Yeah.
I will need to order online those tea pigs, but I will try and be faithful to the recipe because that was the thing. I always for these recipes, I always try and be faithful to the recipe. Now with the New York cheesecake, I actually managed. Bless my brother, he actually managed to send me some graham crackers from the United States. So I was able to actually make those graham crackers using the graham crackers, which is what the recipe suggested.
Yeah, just not enough graham crackers.
Yes, you didn't have to have that,
but
yes.
Yeah, we will. But I think that, I mean, I would like to make a cheesecake. I've been debating this, thinking, oh yeah, you know what? It's been years since I've made a cheesecake, so I really need to make a cheesecake. But also, I want to make another pina colada cake because I made a pina colada cake, but the one that I had Malibu in it. But I've actually got some coconut flavoring, some coconut extract. So I'm going to use that instead of the Malibu as the flavoring. So yeah, I'm going to do a pina colada cake. And then I'm thinking I might try my hand at Black Forest Gatto.
Now that is Kelly's favorite cake, Black Forest Gatto. So she does want to try. Now you did buy some cherries in Kirsch.
Yeah.
So classic for that.
Yeah. So I might try my hand at that. There's a couple of things that I do want to try out. Which I haven't tried before, but yeah, definitely the coconut cake, the coconut and pineapple cake, like pina colada cake. And then I don't know what else. There's a couple of things that I saw. I think also I want to switch up some cooking recipes, and sort of like try new dishes and stuff. And I was even thinking the other day, I was like, oh yeah, I wish I could do some gâteau brésil, but we don't have any aubergines to do some gâteau brésil. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I should try those coconut shrimp, but that takes forever in a day to do coconut shrimp as well. But I think I'm going to do some coconut shrimp at some point. I think I've only got 1 pack of prawns, so I need a couple more packs of prawns, I think. And then I'm going to do the coconut shrimp. I'm going to do maybe I've seen a recipe for pineapple rice. So I'm thinking I might try out the recipe for pineapple rice. Mark's getting some cookbooks down. Careful because there's something on top there. So yeah, so I think there are some recipes that I really would like to try. I'm gonna have a look and see, but I think especially when summertime comes, you kind of you get in that mood to cook, don't you? In sort of like summertime.
Well, this is it. So you might have seen from the recipe books as well, we did do a lot of novelty cookbooks. So we did try. So this is the official Friends cookbook. So that's recipes from this series as well. And what they've basically done is they've taken, obviously, it'll actually tell you for each of the recipes. So for example, this is Joey's special 2 pizzas. It will actually tell you the actual season and episode that was actually shown. And they've pretty much gone through the entire series and just tried to pick out recipes. So we've used a couple from that.
And what I should have done was the Christmas one. You know, Monica's moist maker.
Oh, yes, because we had turkey, didn't we?
Yeah, I had turkey. Well, your mum had turkey. And I think I should have done that recipe, the Christmas recipe.
So that was the Friends one. As we were talking about the bantha milk, so I did do a few here from the Star Wars.
Yes,
cookbook.
you did, yeah.
So some of the cookies, so I did do the sand cookies, the cat's kettle corn, and there was a couple of others as well, the bantha milk, of course, as well. So we did do some from these ones here. There are a few more ones I did want to try. I will do a couple more from these ones as well, but that's from the Star Wars one. So and again, that's the Galaxy's Edge, the official Star Wars cookbook as well, from different recipes. There's that one. This one, of course, one of Kelly's shows, the Supernatural Cookbook. Now,
mine and Evelyn's.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yours and Evelyn's. Now, I did do some of the breakfast ones in here, and I did do the waffles, which were really, really good. I really enjoyed the waffles there. Megatron's waffles, Metatron. Waffle. Also, as well, the pancakes, and I forgot what the pancakes were called.
You also like the eggs a la Chandler in Friends.
Oh yeah, eggs a la Chandler. That was in the Friends one as well. So that's the one where Joey moves out and Chandler gets a new flatmate. Again, the other one was the heavenly pancakes. That was really nice in here. That was delicious, and I have made that several times beyond the video. I do want to try some of the pie recipes in here because you said Dean likes his pies. So
Dean Winchester,
not her brother. All right. Back to the Future, the Hill Valley Cookbook. I've done several recipes in here. Bisque Banana Foster, blackened fish, and also the Skillet Bulletproof Pancake. I also did the Back to School pastry tarts as well. So there are several from the Back to the Future Cookbook. Again, that's the official one they've got there. And it's all recipes inspired from the film. And they actually do in the section. So 1985, which of course is the original one. 2013, which is of course when he goes back into the future, 1955, and of course when he goes back to 1885, so for Back to Future the 3. I might make a few more in there. Now there's one last cookbook that I have bought, which I've not done any of the recipes from. If anybody's seen the series of The Walking Dead, so I did buy this one a while ago. I haven't done any from here, but again, it's all recipes from the series. So again, things like Dwight's egg sandwich, a few there. So there's a few there inspired. I will have a go at that at some point there. But I've gone into these novelty cookbooks just to see what they're like for all of those of you that are fans of the film or the TV series, depending on which one it is.
I'm just having a look to see where my Downton Abbey one is, but I might do one from Downton Abbey. I have to have a look. I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see. But yeah, I think I may do something from Downton Abbey. I'll have to have a look through the recipes. because they were quite unusual, obviously recipes from back in the day. So yeah, so they're going to be quite interesting. But yeah, I might do those.
For those of you interested in those ye olde recipes, I see ye olde. The English Heritage Society actually do some videos on those as well. If you are interested as well on ye olde Victorian recipes.
Okay.
There we go.
So yeah, so that's a few things that we are planning, sort of, I suppose, towards spring and summer, I guess. And obviously when we do a barbecue, I will film us doing a mini barbecue and what we like to have during our barbecues and what we like to do. But we like, you obviously, Mark's pescatarian, so he'll have fish, but I like meat. But if there's only me, I normally just do steak and lamb. And you do, well, I do for you salmon.
Yeah. Now the other thing is as well, all of these cookbooks do have, I think not all of them, this one doesn't, but the Back to the Future one does, and the Friends one does, and the Star Wars one does, have cocktail recipes at the back of the book. So we will try and do some of those cocktail recipes when the pandemic eases a little bit and we can have a few more people over.
Yeah, and those, we're going to make cocktails with those as well.
You've seen them before. There's plenty there.
So I can't even begin to think about, other than Barnum and Bailey's. I'm probably going to try that Barnum and Bailey's before even anyone comes around and try and master the Barnum and Bailey's. Oh my god, that's going to be so good. But only if you like mint, obviously. If you don't like mint, then it's not going to be for you. But the Barnum and Bailey's, what do you call it? TGI Fridays used to do a cocktail called Barnum and Bailey's, and it was named after, who's the guy that did The Greatest Showman? What was The Greatest Showman's name? Not Hugh, but the is it something Barnum? His name was, wasn't
I don't
it?
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the guy from The Greatest Showman, his name was something Barnum, and that's what the Barnum and Bailey's is named after. It's named after the guy from The Greatest Showman. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, there you go. And yeah, TGI Fridays used to do this Barnum and Bailey's, but they no longer do it. And it consisted of ice cream, Bailey's, creme de menthe, and Oreo cookies, and milk and ice, I think. And it's just so delicious.
Oh, so Georgina said, didn't realize so many cookbooks attached to TV shows.
So many.
There are loads now. And do you know what? Actual fact, Georgina, as well, there are way more than this. I was actually shocked. I was doing this for the novelty factor because I just wanted to get the book and make recipes from it, just because, like I said, it's attached to the film, just for a little bit of fun. But on top of this, I noticed, I haven't bought it yet, there's an Alien. So Alien the film with Sigourney Weaver, there is an Alien cookbook. There's also a Jurassic Park cookbook.
Oh, really? Are
so
they official ones? Or
these are official.
Oh,
so the
really?
Alien one and the Jurassic Park one are official. Now, there are lots of unofficial ones, as you know. Harry Potter do not have any official ones as such. They are all unofficial. And there are plenty of other unofficial ones for movies. But these ones we've tried to go for the official ones just purely for the authenticity for the actual cooking.
I think Harry Potter is going to do an official one. It might have come out already, but I think they are going to do an official one. And I think what was the other one? There is going to be another one due out, and I can't remember which one it is, and that is also another official one. Oh, Disney. Disney have done a few cookbook magazines, but they haven't done a cookbook. I think there was a dessert one, maybe.
Oh yeah.
So I'm waiting for Disney to do their one, an official cookbook, because that would be quite fun to do. Hey, Eve.
Even said, I need to come eat once you bake something, though, Mark. Oh, yes, you are more than welcome to invite. And hello.
Definitely, hello.
We do want you to come as well for the, as I was saying just earlier on, obviously all of these ones, and I think Superman Natural, which you're a fan of, I shall definitely bake you something from here, because a lot of Dean Winchester's pies are in here.
Pies and burgers. Burgers and pies.
But a lot of these ones as well, like the Star Wars one and the Friends one, do have cocktails recipes at the back of them, so I shall give those a little whirl. But yeah, there's a lot more for us to try. I am going to look at the Jurassic Park one, see if it's worth ordering. There are loads of official Star Wars. That the Galaxy Edge one that I've got here, this is just one of many. That's the Walking Dead one. This is just one of many. There are several Star Wars ones. That's the Galaxy Edge one, but there are several official Star Wars ones. So this is just one of many.
I think though this one is the closest one that they are doing at Disney at the moment. So where they've opened Tatooine,
Oh yeah, that's true.
you get, if you show them the back as well, because it's got a lot of the dishes at the back, so it's quite good to sort of like see. Let me get behind you.
Yeah, I was going to zoom in there. So that's just like some of the recipes they've got there. So in terms of trickiness, this one, the Back to the Future one, is actually quite straightforward. The recipes are quite simple, as is the Supernatural one. Because with a lot of these recipes, they do say, for example, with the pie, they say just buy pie crust, and then this is how you make the filling. So they're quite pretty simple, this one. Friends one is a little more advanced, but it's relatively, there's a few ingredients in here, but they do tend to encourage you to cook from scratch. I haven't gone through the Walking Dead one yet, but the Star Wars one is a bit more complex. And the reason being is not only do you start cooking from scratch, they do get you to make things like your own different types of sugar. So for the cookies that I made, if you watch the sand cookies, I had to make what they call obsidian sugar, which I'd never heard of. And what that was is you got a pan, you put sugar in it with water, and then you added several, I think it was orange essence, and I think it was another essence as well. I can't remember. It's such a while ago that I made it. And it was that you had to make that first before you could then go and make your other cookies. So you do slightly a bit more complex, that one.
Yeah.
So depending on the complexity, will determine what type of book you want to get.
It's true. And I think when you do things from scratch, like today I made my own curry paste from scratch, and you think, oh yeah, it looks like it's only a 5-minute job, but it isn't. By the time you've peeled this, by the time you've chopped this, by the time you've pounded this, by the time you've added that, and by the time, it's just like an hour's gone, and you just think, oh my god, it's just like what? And your rice only takes like 15 minutes. But again, you have to wash your rice, you have to, make sure you wash it, the water runs clean and everything else, then you put it in your pot, and then you have to put whatever water and all of this, then you have to boil it first till it goes to the boiling temperature, then you turn it down and you put the lid on for 10 minutes, then you turn it down, and then you turn it off, and then you leave it 5 minutes. So while the cooking time in actual fact is 15 minutes, you also have to wait till it comes to the boil first before you turn it down, put the lid on, wait 10 minutes, then turn it off and wait 5 minutes. Yeah, I just feel like everything just takes a long time.
Totally. I can totally see now why chefs like Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay, they bring out cookbooks that say how to make a meal in under 10 minutes, under 15 minutes. Because it's so, like you said, you were out there for ages cooking it. I've got to give Kelly her due. That was a lot of work put in. But it's for a meal that you soft down, well, I soft down in 5 minutes. So I do get why people just want to have more emphasis on time to themselves. So just doing much, much easier, quicker make meals.
Yeah.
And they are very popular. Doing a quicker, easier meal.
Yeah. I think for me, Gordon Ramsay, I've got his cookbook. Oh, I think it's upstairs actually. And he does this butternut squash. We were talking about it in the last live. I still haven't done it yet. I'm thinking I've never made soup before. So I can't wait to do this butternut squash. But equally, I'm a bit nervous about it because I'm thinking all sorts of things could go wrong. But what could go wrong is soup. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
But this is it. Do you know what I mean? You won't know until you give it a go. But it's worth trying as well. So that's just something we've got in the pipeline there. We will have a look through some more of these ones as well. I must do that bantha milk.
Yeah.
Redo that bantha milk because we did get a request to redo the bantha milk with some suggestions. So thank you for the suggestions.
Yeah. I might do some more cake jars, or I might do a layered what do you call it? Black Forest Gatto.
Yeah, Kelly really wants to try the Black Forest Gatto.
Yeah, can you imagine like a cake jar, a layered cake jar of Black Forest Gatto? That'd be amazing.
And once the pandemic eases a little bit, we will be back out there sampling more from the cake shops as well. Check out our other videos that we did for when we went to Soho, because we went to quite a few nice little cake eaters. We went to Creme, didn't we? What was the other ones that we went to?
We went to.
Name escapes me.
I don't know because we did London Part 1, London Part 2. I haven't done London Part 3 yet, but this was over the Christmas period.
Yeah.
So you do see us going to like a few different places and all of that type of stuff. But I still want to try Ollie and Steen. Is it
Yeah.
Ollie and Steen? Ollie and Steen. And there's a couple of other cake shops that I do want to try.
Mm.
And other cake shops that I want to go back to. But you know, like if the cake shops from Brighton or restaurants from Brighton delivered, that would be amazing because there are some trendy restaurants down there.
Really impressed when we went to Brighton.
Really nice restaurants. It's come on in Brighton. I mean, I remember going to Brighton. Me and Evelyn used to go all the time. So I say all the time. We used to go like once or twice a year. And we go and stay in a hotel in Brighton, and you know we would just walk around Brighton. We'd go in the lanes. We'd go to the shopping centre and all of this. But like now, Brighton's really come on in the sense that there are so many trendy restaurants there now. So many. So you've got the lanes, which is the old part, and then you've got like the newer part now. And there's so many trendy shops down there. So many. I mean, we didn't even go all around Brighton. We went. It was just so. There's just so much to do there now.
So that's another video we have to upload. We went to Brighton in November just to have a little trip there. Had a really, really good time. So we were able to sample some restaurants as well. We did do, as a request from somebody, we did do the Harvester, which we have not done a Harvester in years. So that was one thing. We tried to do the breakfast one, but we weren't able to get there in time. We had huge problems with the train. So what should have been an hour and 10-minute journey turned into a 4-hour round trip. But anyway, we won't go into that. But yeah, so we did eventually end up going in there as well. Harvester I've not been into in years.
You used to love Harvester.
I used to love Harvester years ago, but it's changed so much. For those of you that haven't been to a Harvester for years or for a while, it has changed a lot.
Yeah, but me and Evelyn, we used to go like years ago when it was really good, when it first sort of like came out. Evelyn and I used to go all the time. We used to go to the one, God, we went to a few, but there was one in Dulwich that we used to go to, which was quite good. And then it changed over hands, and they only did like chicken mainly. And I just thought, oh, what's all these chicken dishes? And I didn't really enjoy it. Went a couple of times, but they wasn't as good. And then they changed over hands again, but it's never been as good as when they first opened.
No, I totally agree. So I remember, well, not when it first opened, but I remember when I was a kid, we used to go, and the salad bar choices were so much wider than they are now.
Yeah.
And they always, Harvester always remind me of Garfunkel's, very sort of similar setup. Very, very similar setup.
No way. No. Garfunkel's. Oh, no.
Anyway, that's just your opinion on Garfunkel's.
Yeah, that is my opinion on Garfunkel's.
But yes, you did not a big fan of Garfunkel's.
No, there was always something wrong.
Yes to Ollie and Steen.
Yes to Ollie and Steen. Yeah, I definitely need to go there. And we've passed it several times now. But bypassed it and went to Boon Chic.
Oh yeah, we keep going to Boon Chic. Boon Chic is you've got to the Brighton days, said he.
Yeah, the Brighton days when we used to go.
I think we're getting a bit of a lag actually. So apologies to everybody. I think we get our computer is just sort of whirring around a little bit. So we are getting the messages a bit later than I think then you post them. So apologies for that. But yes, you remember the old Brighton days.
Yeah, we used to go down, and we I remember there was one year. It was me, Eve, and Lorenzo. We went, and I left Evelyn and Lorenzo because I wanted to go and get my Harry Potter book, which was coming out the next day. And there wasn't a queue, luckily. And I went, and I think it might have been book 5 that I went and purchased. Yeah, book 5. I think it was. And then I left them in the room and went up and bought my book, and then came back. Yeah, I really love Brighton. I think it's a brilliant place, and I think I would definitely like to go again. Not maybe towards the summer, but not right in summer, but maybe towards the summer. Just not when it's
when it's busy.
Packed.
Yeah, super busy. Well, we would. Is there a restaurant you guys would like to revisit that you haven't visited for years? Talking of Harvester, There is a Wimpy near us, which I would like to go to purely just for see what it's like. I have
Really?
not been to a Wimpy in years, and I'm talking decades.
But what would you have?
I don't know what there is. I haven't been for that long.
Yeah,
I haven't been that long.
I don't know of them doing a fish burger, so it would have to be
Just have a look.
Yeah,
Just to have a look. And funny enough, when I
Yeah.
walk past it, it's always empty.
yeah.
It's
I don't know
always
how
empty.
it's there still. It's always empty. I don't think I've ever been to a full Wimpy. I've got in all the years that Wimpy have been going, I don't think I've ever been to a Wimpy when it's been packed.
No, so that's the other one I would like to try is a Wimpy. That's one I haven't been to a while, just purely for nostalgia, see if it is the same. So they are my two choices. Well, I've been into Harvester now, but I would Wimpy will be another one just to see what it's like.
And did you used to like the Little Chef? Because you went to the Little Chef, didn't you?
Yeah, because the Little Chef is no longer in existence, but I
No.
did like the Little Chef as a child. I don't know what it's like now, the quality. I might have it now. I think, oh god, but well, I can't have it now because it's closed. But I do remember the Little Chef. Or is it still open?
I always wanted to go to the Little Chef. They were normally along the motorway.
Yeah, that's right.
You only ever had, and when we were traveling along the motorway, we never ever went to, because we never stopped when we went on the motorway. So it is something that I would have liked to have tried back in the day, because those cherry pancakes, because that's what that's what they used to advertise,
That's
right?
I love the cherry pancake. That was my favorite.
Yeah, so they would have this picture of a little chef that looked a little bit like the Michelin Man, or the looked a little bit like the Pillsbury Doughboy, if you know what the Pillsbury Doughboy looked
American
like.
thing.
Yeah, and he'd be there like that, and then in front there'd be like these pancakes with this cream and cherry, and it always looked amazing. And that picture was there for you. That was their thing for years.
Did you never have it?
No.
Oh, it's lovely.
Never ever went to a Little Chef.
The cherry pancakes, for those of you who never had it, you know the cherry filling you can buy in the can.
Yeah.
Filling, it was that basically on a pancake. So it was exactly that. Tin cherries, the ones you get in the filling, so with the sauce as well, full of sugar, but you have that with your pancakes. So that was the Little Chef. For those of you that don't remember the Little Chef, like you said, it was on motorway.
Yeah.
And actual fact, funny enough, there was a program. It must be about 10 years ago now. The Little Chef hired Heston Blumenthal to try and rescue them because they were going under. So the trouble is though, he created, you know what Heston Blumenthal is like. He was creating recipes that are for free Michelin star restaurants. And of course, the Little Chef chief executive was saying, look, I can't do that because our clientele don't want to spend more than £8-9 for a main.
Yeah.
So you can't then go and do steak with red wine jus and all of this, because the on cost we would have to do to charge the customer. He was oh my god, Wimpy.
Yeah.
You remember it. And there's one near us. So if you come round, we shall have to frequent it and give it a go. But yeah, so and in the end, anyway, they had a bit of a falling out. And the chief executive at the time it was on the program. I remember watching it. He stopped talking to Heston. So Heston carried on with the thing, and eventually they contacted each other and carried it on. But I think he had to really seriously compromise as well, because he was adding all these ingredients in, and of course they had an accountant that was totting up and go. He basically would work out how much you would have to charge per person in the restaurant, and he was given no more than £8.99, I think, or £9, I think it was at the time, as a main course. And of course, the accountant first of all worked out it's £15 something per head, and it's like, oh, so you have to take out this ingredient and mess it around with this, and eventually got it down to £12, then to £10, and then he had to keep tweaking his ingredient until he got it down to that magical £9, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah, I feel for me, like Heston Blumenthal, what he's done, I've never tried his food, but it always looks grandiose. Like a lot of effort has gone in and all of this. But it doesn't look like when he does like the smoked duck, the duck is actually smoking it. And I'm thinking, all right, yeah, it looks amazing and everything else. But as a person who's going to eat, you're just thinking, well, you want to try the food, not the smell of the food. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not eating the smell. And while yes, you eat with your eyes, you're looking at and you're thinking that's gonna taste good. Ooh, I don't want to see all of this smoke and smell the food, and then there's like that much of dark. which wouldn't bother me, but would definitely bother you if there was that.
Well,
No, not duck, but that much of fish. Let's say.
I wouldn't eat there. I mean, I know. Don't get me wrong. I get it. It's all part of the theatre, and people go for that
Yeah.
experience. But if I'm paying £250 for a meal, I want to be full at the end of that meal. Forget the ambience. I think. Or the other thing I was going to say is the other. It was a bit of a gimmick, really, that he did with Little Chef, but he also rebranded Odeon's food, Odeon Cinema's food.
Did he?
Where he was so restricted to what he could do. He came out with all these really expansive ideas. But of course, Odeon Cinema, you don't go to Odeon Cinema for the food. I mean, literally, what do you get from Odeon Cinema? Sweets, popcorn, of course, and hot dogs, maybe the nachos. That's pretty much, and ice cream. That's pretty much it. So he was very restricted in what he could do. What he did is he did this hot dog where the actual sauce is inside the dog. That's what he came up with, and he came up with some really unique popcorn flavors. So I think he did like a curry flavor for popcorn and some other bits and bobs as well. But he was very restricted on what he could do.
Again, they don't sound like things that would appeal to me.
No, it's a bit adventurous for these places.
Yeah, it's not the fact that it's adventurous, but I think being used to going to the cinema and stuff like that, you want your sweet popcorn. Or if some people like salt popcorn, I don't really like salt popcorn, but some people, that's what they like. So when you and when you then put curry flavor in, I mean, I don't really like curry flavor at the best of times in a packet of crisps, let alone curry flavored popcorn. I don't think if you're gonna have curry, let's have curry, not a curry flavored thing.
Well, of course, he's thinking outside the box,
Yeah.
but of course, I think that was where his sort of gripe was as well. He said, he said I was coming up with all these ideas, and of course they're putting restrictions on him. And they said, well, look, hang on, you hired me, you know what I do. And it's true. If you hire him, that's the kind of thing he's going to be thinking outside the box. But of course, they really rein him in and say, no, this is what we want. So I mean, really, the whole show was just a gimmick, really, just to sort of to advertise the company. And B as well, Heston Blumenthal likes being on the TV, so it kind of a best of both worlds for them.
Yeah, isn't his something duck or whatever?
Yeah, he's got the fat duck.
The fat duck,
which is in Bray. He's got several around the world now.
Right.
I think he's got one in London now, but I forget what it's called.
I would definitely try out one of his restaurants maybe one day, but him as from what I've seen him do compared to what other chefs do, I think I would more likely go and try other chefs' restaurants rather than he would be on the list maybe, but not near the top. There are other chefs' restaurants that I would like to try first.
For me, I couldn't do that. For me, there's just not moralistically, but for me, that I couldn't pay £250 for a meal.
I wouldn't pay £250 if that's what it cost.
Yeah, a free Michelin star chef will charge £200 plus.
Yeah, but there are some that do set meals, set price meals, set menus, so that they're not 200. I think when you're ordering a la carte, yes, and which is fair enough because you're going in there and you're. So like if there are restaurants that you like to try, always check to see if they do like fix what you call it, a set menu, because you can go to these really like upscale market type restaurants and have a set menu, and then the set menu might be half the price of what an a la carte menu would be. And I think that's quite nice for the people who maybe don't want to spend as much money on food. Like going to the Oxo Tower was set menu, going to Hutong set menu, going to there's just other places that you can go to and go for a set menu and still experience the ambience of the restaurant, which is what I like. You're still going to experience the ambience of the restaurant. You're going to have, but I gotta say, the Hutong set menu is really, really good. It's really good. So and the food there is it's on point. I did like the duck and waffle. I thought the duck and waffle was good. But I would like to go when the actual egg station is working, because the egg station wasn't working, which was crazy to me. So I would go there again just to try different menu items. But Houton, I highly thoroughly recommend Houton. And I do recommend Ivy St Paul's. It is expensive, They didn't do a set menu. We ordered a la carte. It is expensive, but the food is nice. But the service there is so on point, and the restaurant itself is lovely.
I don't know about you, but well, no, not you, but that will affect my enjoyment of the meal. If it's very expensive, I won't enjoy it.
Yeah,
I won't enjoy it, even if the food, like I say, I just wouldn't. If it's very expensive.
yeah. I feel like I don't know. For me, it just depends on like we went. So Mark loves buffet restaurants,
I certainly do.
and we went. We were in Vegas, and we got tickets for a show, and you got $4 off of a buffet. But the buffet was off strip. I think it was at the Palms or the Rio Grande or whatever it was. And so it was off strip. Anyway, we got $4 off. When we went there, we queued, but the queue for the buffet
God,
was
yeah.
so long. We couldn't do and we went a good 2 hours before the show, and we were queuing up for an hour and 20 minutes. And I said to Mark, we got to come out of this line because we're never gonna be able to go to the show as well. So we came out of the line, and Mark got upset because he couldn't eat
Well, especially if you've been queuing up for that long and then
for
you
that
get
long.
sick.
Yeah, and
Queuing up for nothing.
so anyway, we went to the show and we had a good time at the show, and then we decided to go back on another day. Now so Mark was looking forward to it, and so we were going, and I just thought, oh my god, we're gonna have to queue for that was annoying me that we were gonna have to queue for. And I thought, for $4, I'd rather lose that $4. I'm not that it's just $4 to me is just like ridiculous to go and queue for however long.
Well, it wasn't just the $4. Also, as well, this had, I was told, and we were told actually by that, because we met a couple when we went out shopping, and they British couple, and they recommended it. They said try that restaurant
But it was only because it was the biggest buffet in Vegas
at the time. Yeah,
right. So that's all it was. It was just that it was the biggest buffet in Vegas. And in my mind, I thought, this buffet is not going to be good. And so already in my mind, I thought, this buffet is not going to be good. So anyway, we queued. This time, we actually queued for about just under an hour.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was a long way.
It was a long way. We queued just under an hour. And we got there, and I knew it. We had eaten at better buffets than this buffet, right? Don't get me wrong. There was more stations, but what's the point of having all of these stations and it's just mediocre food?
Oh, but that was a disappointing thing about it as well, because it had good reviews, so I was expecting a good buffet, but it wasn't. It was not that good. We haven't done. I won't mention the place because this was 2016, I believe, so it was a long time ago. But so we give it the chance for it to improve. But like I said, that was disappointing.
And I just felt that a year or two later, we went to another hotel which was very close to it, and that was the cheapest buffet that we went to, and the food was all right.
That was the Ace buffet, so that was in Palm Springs, but
the food was so much better.
Really
it was I enjoyed it. I don't it wasn't the best, but don't get me wrong, it wasn't the best buffet or whatever, but for the price, the food was all right.
So it just goes to show, going where you queue, and sometimes the price as well doesn't always guarantee you good quality.
But we also went to another buffet. It was Caesar's Palace.
Oh yeah.
And that, I mean, I've seen a few people review that restaurant anyway. But we went to I think it's called Bacchanal Buffet, and again they had all of these like loads of stations and all of that type of stuff. And I got there, and again the food was mediocre. It was not all that.
So sometimes you do pay extra in these buffets as well, because if they do things like unlimited steak, they've got to up the price in case everybody orders. Well, not 3 or 4 steaks, but you could in theory do that.
But the thing was, they had a Chinese station. They had all these different stations. Yeah. And my thing is, that's all very well and good. You're going to have all of these stations, but are you going to cook the food well? Because there's no point in having you might as well have a few stations, like 2 or 3 stations, and actually have chefs that can actually cook the food well. They pride themselves on having however many stations, but yet the food is very. I did have steak. It was so chewy. And then you can check out the video, because there is a video of us at the Bacchanal buffet in Caesar's Palace. And we ate the desserts looked so. Let me tell you, there's been many desserts. I've said this before. I've been to many restaurants, and the desserts always look so nice, and you just think, can't wait to try them. And I'm forever disappointed. Forever. There's only been one or two places I can think of off the top of my head, which are buffet places, and the desserts were actually good. Just two places that I can think of, and I'll come on to those in a minute. But the thing at the back, so the dessert station at the back on our buffet, they had like these mini popcorns in the mini bags. They had looked so good. They had the ube ice cream and all of that type of stuff. Looked really, really good. We went there, and I picked up these different things, and in my mind I was thinking, I don't think these are going to be good. And I got to the table, and the popcorn was so oily, but like done in oil that hadn't been. Do you know what I mean? That there's only a certain type of oil that will always not go well with me, and it's normally oil that isn't clean. So it's like so to me, this oil had probably been reused. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying that's what it tasted like. And so it wasn't good, and I thought to myself, oh my god, that's going to repeat on me later, of which it did. And they had these other little desserts, and they just wasn't nice at all. And I showed we at the end of the review, and I did say we paid however much it was, and
Yeah,
I
it
was
expensive.
quite disappointed with the result of that. But the other, our favorite my favorite buffet in Vegas was the Wicked Spoon.
Yeah, that's our favorite.
Yeah. And when you had your omelet there, didn't you? And they did crab, and they did, was it lobster or shrimp or something that they did?
I'm just imagining it. Yeah, it was. They did smoked salmon. They did crab on there. I think it was crab, or was it? I can't remember if it was crab or they did prawns. Another fish as well, which I can't remember. But it was just delicious. It was so good. Really, really good. Really enjoyed it. Couldn't recommend enough.
Yeah, and they also did chantilly cream. The only thing with the chantilly cream, it tasted lovely and everything else. They just over whipped it. You know, when you over whip cream, it sort of separates a little bit. It looks a bit grainy. It isn't. It's still delicious, but it was just over whipped. But that chantilly cream was really nice, and they had that over where the sort of pancakes were. But I like to have it some with my so at the dessert station. Like I said, there's not very many buffets where I actually like the desserts, but Wicked Spoon was one of those places I really enjoyed the desserts. And they had what you call it, peach cobbler, and I would get peach cobbler from one station, then go to the other end of the other station and put the chantilly cream on top of the peach cobbler. It's so delicious.
Now that's always a plus side for a buffet. You can mix and match, and that's what it's all about. The only downside to buffets that I do find sometimes is, of course, what they do is they cook the food and they leave it out. So sometimes that food left out for ages can be. Oh, I'm not a buffet person, but curious about the JRC Global Buffet in Wembley.
Have you been? We have been to the one that is in Croydon. It used to be Cosmo.
Yeah.
But is now JRC. But it's still the same buffet pretty much. Now it's all right. It's just, for me, it's only okay. It's mediocre. We've been there a few times now because the family like to go, because they like the idea of just paying and then being able to eat whatever it is that they want to eat. But yeah, it's all right. It's worth going just to check it out. But I warn you, for me, it was mediocre.
The quality is okay, as Kelly says, and I do agree, but it is very much quantity over quality. It is, like I said, don't get me wrong. So effectively, the main thing they sell is Chinese food. That's in the one in Croydon, especially. That's the main hub. So as you go in, there's a huge Chinese food area.
Mm-hmm.
They do Italian food, but it's only 3 types of pizza from memory. Indian as well, but there's only about 2 or 3 curries you can pick with rice, and also naans, chapatis, and poppadoms as well. And there is like what they call a British section, so it's a roast dinner, but again, it's only sort of little roast bits and bobs there. But the main focus is Chinese food.
Yeah,
So
and they also do Japanese as well.
oh, Japanese as well. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
do those as well. Yeah, because they've got sushi as well
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
The desserts are okay, but they are very much shop bought desserts. So the sort of things you would get. They do eat a mess from memory.
Hmm.
They did some sort of banana and custard type dish.
Mm.
They did a few jellies, and they've got a sweet station as well.
Yeah, they got ice creams there. They got a chocolate fountain. They got the fruit that you dip for the chocolate fountain. The dessert station, they got quite a few desserts there, and again for me, mediocre. They're okay. It is worth checking it out. It is worth going to have a look.
Oh, Georgina said I used to pass in the buffet when visiting for a literary event, and it all looked great, but I wouldn't know where to start. Channel 5 showed behind the scenes of one in Wembley, and it was massive.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, the Ned that's my favourite buffet in the UK. That is the best buffet I've ever been to in England. That and what was the hotel we went to that's opposite in Strand? That's
Oh,
not too,
Savoy.
the Savoy one. No, not the Savoy. The one near it's opposite the Waterstones, right next to Fortnum's.
That's not on the Strand though. Oh, you're talking about Lane Meridian.
Yeah, the Meridian. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
quite
yeah, yeah.
nice.
That was quite good buffet. Because when you were talking about yes, opposite the
Sorry,
Strand,
that's
and I was
mine.
thinking, yeah, the Savoy's opposite the Strand. I don't remember going
No,
for a
not
buffet
that
there.
one. No, that was really nice as well. But that is the best buffet I've been to, the Ned's.
Yeah, the Ned was really good, and that was the second one where the desserts are really good. So there's only been two buffets that I've been to, and the desserts have been on point. But again, actually, speaking about the Le Meridian, which it's now called the Dilly, they don't do buffets there anymore.
No.
But actually, their dessert buffet was quite nice as
Yeah,
well.
theirs was really good.
They had like little what do you call it, eclairs and things like that. That was quite nice. So I did enjoy their food there actually at Le Meridian. Some of their meat sometimes was a bit chewy, so it wasn't like well done, but the all the accoutrements were really good, like the little salads that they did. Sometimes the chicken, sometimes the pork could be a bit chewy though. They would do a Sunday roast from time to time, which was quite
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So you'd get your Yorkshire puddings and your mash and whatnot. So that was actually quite a good buffet. But the Ned in the UK, that buffet wise that I've been to is really quite good.
Yeah, Georgina said yes. The desserts at the Ned look amazing. Yeah, they're really, really good. It does taste it does taste like homemade cooking. The custard tastes like it's been homemade. It's really, really nice, and that goes again with the crumble that they'll do.
Mm,
They did cake pops, which are nice, and also they did cheese and crackers, which I know is not your thing, but really was right up my street.
mm.
That was the best buffet I've been to. JRC's okay, as Kelly said, but it is very much buffet type food. I don't think you'll be disappointed, but it's more for if you are hungry, you go there to chow down.
Yeah, I think it's more of a novelty thing, isn't it? Where you
Yeah,
all go as a family, and I think it's if you have a family or friends or like a load of friends who like different cuisines, it's a good place to go if you want something different. So if somebody likes curry, if somebody likes Japanese, if somebody likes Chinese, if somebody likes the good old roast or whatever. I think it's a good place to go if you all like different cuisines or if you want to try loads of different cuisines.
mm.
It's a bit like I don't know if you've ever been, but Jimmy's World Buffet in at the O2. It's sort of along the same
Mm.
lines, very similar. But the Ned buffet, you get things like lobster, you get things like oysters, you get roast
Mm.
pork, you get roast beef, you get roast chicken. Um, you get it's just loads of different things. You get your mash, you get your pigs in blanket, you get your roast potatoes, you get your poached salmon, you get what do you call it, avocado on toast, you get sausage roll. There's quite a lot there, I
The
feel.
only downside, of course, now is, of course, you order it and it's brought to your table. I really miss the days when you can go up there and help yourself.
Yeah,
Because, like I said, you can just get what you want, go back down, and you can go up again when you want. One thing I did notice here, remember, you are on the clock at the Ned. So as soon
yeah.
as they time you in, you're waiting for your food as well. So you've got to summon someone when you want your next thing. that can take a while because you're waiting for your waiter or waitress is going around 10, 12, 20 tables. So you've got to wait to summon them. Once obviously you've summoned them, you say, can I have X, Y, and Z? They've got to go off and get it for you, and then then it comes to you. So there's a good 20-minute waiting gap in between that. Whereas before you could just go up when you're ready, come back when you're ready.
Yeah, and I think they are quite strict on time as well. So I feel like, don't get me wrong, I prefer that the way that they're doing it now, where somebody goes to get your food and stuff like that. But I do feel that there should be more than one waitress for however, there should be more than one server for however many tables.
Yeah.
Because the poor lady was going around several different tables. Now, if you think there's 4 or 5 people at that table, and you're having to go and serve for however many people at that table, we're just a couple. Do you know what I mean? So, and we're sort of like up against the people that's like 4 or 5 people at that table. And this poor lady's having to go round, or poor man has to go around and do all of that. And I feel it's quite a lot of work for one person to do.
Because there was towards the end, our time was up, and I still wanted to order some extra bits.
Yeah.
Of course, I was waiting. Managed to get them, and I said, "Can I have X, Y, and Z?" And they did come and bring it. To be fair enough, but just bear that in mind. If you do go to the Neds, try and get your fill in first. So just really ask for a whole wide range of things. Then you can take your time. And when you're ready, you can then order the new stuff, and they will take it for you.
Yeah. The only thing now is you have to be a member.
Yes.
You there's 2 restaurants that you have to be a member for now. And one of them is the Sunday Feast, and I forget what the other one is. But basically, they do this thing. It's about £200 for the year or whatever it is, and you then have to that allows you then to go to the Sunday buffet, but you don't get any discount. So even though you've paid £200 for membership, to be a member of the Ned, which gives you entitlement to go to the rooftop or wherever else in the hotel, it doesn't give you any discount on the Sunday feast. Now, if I was going to pay £200 membership, I would want discount on the Sunday feast. I'm sorry.
No, just keep the riffraff out.
Yeah, and it's like £75 as it is.
Yeah, so it's expensive. So
yeah.
We did toy with it, but we thought, well, how often are we going to come? And like I said, we've done the one video as well. So we may, hopefully, we're hoping that they'll drop the need for the membership, and then you invite anybody, but we will see.
We managed to get the last booking last year. That was in May.
Yeah.
End of May. We managed to get the last slot in May last year to do a video of the Ned and how they're doing it now. So you'll see it there. We've got a video there, but we've got several videos of the Ned. We've got the video of how it originally was, so you can compare it to how it originally was. Now they were only like 5 and 10 minute videos, but the one that we did in May, I think it's like 20-minute video or half an hour video.
Yeah, and that's the one that was during the pandemic, well, just before they reverted to a membership only.
Yeah.
There we have it. Well, guys, we've been going on for over 2 hours, believe it or not. So we will end it there. Thank you so much for everybody for joining in as well. We had such a good time, as we always do. Thank you so much for adding to the comments as well and joining in our chat. We will be back again Tuesday, our normal slot at 6 p.m. UK time for our usual catch up. Until then, have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Look after yourselves, and above all, stay safe. Remember, you are never too old to have fun. Until our next live, we will wish you adieu. And like I said, look after yourself, take care, and we will see you in the next live. But anyway, bye for Kelly and I. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Take care. Bye.